This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Rob Gronkowski from Dudes on Dudes. Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You can stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, or you can spice things up and try some unexpected pairings like dipping chicken wonton tacos in our honey Dijon mustard. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Football is back. That means it's tailgate time, and this season, the only meat I'm going to grill is Dietz and Watson. I'm loving the Black Angus Dietz dogs. They're flavor-packed, and you can tell they are made with the highest quality ingredients. Sundays just got a whole lot better. Visit DietzandWatson.com/therightway to learn more about the Dietz difference.
This is your The Bears Were Who We Thought They Were leader fan radio network.
Tweet that.
And KFAN.com. 1 minute, 41 seconds past the hour of 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. We welcome you back to a day after a Tuesday edition of the Bumper to Bumper program on a rather wet, dark, dank Tuesday afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. My name is Dan Barreiro. I am the host of the program. Guardsy is the producer of the show, and we thank each and every one of you for your participation in today's 3.5 hour tour. A guest lineup today, it's a good one. Kevin Seifert, back from the Windy City, will join us in studio, Guardsy tells me, beginning at 4:02 today. Seifert. Tuesday day, regular for him, but back in studio as well, which is great. And next segment, Adam Thielen will make his bumper-to-bumper debut, at least this time around. I don't remember if we ever had him on.
We've had him on.
I got to believe we have over the years,
Yeah, not
right?
a ton, but a couple of times.
It's been a while, though.
It has
I think
been.
It's got to have been a long time.
Yes.
So Thielen is coming up live and local next segment, because I'm presuming he's also back from Chicago. I doubt he's on the same plane that Seifert took back.
I hope not.
But he is back as well. I was chuckling and thinking about the late, great Denny Green as the Vikings pulled off. I was about to call it an improbable comeback. Not when it includes the Bears. I can't tell you I saw it coming based on what we saw for much of the first 3 quarters. But again, the score, the disparity was never great enough to say it can't happen. Especially when you factor in the Bears are who we thought they were. The famous Denny Green line, at that point, he was coaching in Arizona. It was the Bears' Super Bowl year under Lovey, as it turns out. Bears down 20-0, and the Arizona Cardinals let them off the hook. The Bears ended up, I think, winning that game 21-20, got like 2 defensive touchdowns. It was absurd. And that was the moment afterwards of the famous Denny Green rant. The Bears are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Well, the Vikings did not let the Chicago Bears off the hook after the Bears left the Vikings off the hook. By that I mean, I honestly believe that once we saw the Vikings do what? Push back. Create any kind of pressure for the Monsters of the Midway, there was every reason to believe that they would do exactly what they did, which was crumble. They collapsed. They crumbled in the fourth quarter. They gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter. They lost at home with a pick six. Getting a pick six in their favor. That's almost supposed to be impossible.
It is.
To lose a game like that. And I really felt it became clear, as it pertained to the Bears quarterback, Caleb Williams, that once the pressure was back on him and this offense, look, eventually maybe Ben Johnson's going to have all the answers. I wouldn't fire him yet. But it's still a lot of the same people. Still a lot of bad habits that any new coaching staff has to work out of a team that's been as dreadful as the Bears have been, as long as they've been dreadful. And so I felt once the pushback began, once the Vikings started showing a little fiber, a little backbone, and a little bit of confidence, especially offensively, that there was no reason to think that the Bears had in them any kind of response, that they were going to give and give and give until they finally indeed just said, Uncle, we're done. We're going to lose the game. We got some great Vikings talking points that we will save for a little later in the broadcast that attempt to cover all of this as we like to do after Vikings games. Brought to you by our good friends at Federated Insurance. Talking points sponsored by Federated Insurance. So that will be interspersed throughout the broadcast as well. But as feeble, let me back up. One of the talking points has to do with, quite frankly, the key possession of the game, the possession that changed everything, that ended in I think the Bears missing a 50-yard field goal. Once the Bears didn't complete that drive, which potentially could have given them a 24-6 lead, to me, it was wide open at that point. Then you say, yeah, there's every opportunity to do it. It's not that big of a deficit, first of all. And from that point forward, the Vikings offensively looked like a different club. J.J. McCarthy looked like a different quarterback. I saw some tweets early in the night. You know, a couple people are saying already, I got a text indicating that what is your apology segment? When is your apology segment to McCarthy? Your Twitter was negative, Dan.
Excuse me?
And I think it was, did I do the A-Raj one last night or the morning? I don't remember what I did. There were a couple of negative ones. Oh, I think I said on the pick six, A-Raj would have would have checked down to a better play.
Yeah.
That's about 30% what I believe and about 70% for the bit. But I know what I read last night nationally.
Oh, it was rough.
And it was astounding. I mean, there were people literally saying that KOC has no chance to survive with this guy as quarterback. That he did look helpless.
It was a mess.
He looked, even trying to get out of trouble. He's tripping over his own feet. He's falling down in the turf. And he looked like he had no strength. He looked like he was like 80 pounds. And I'm going, well, so I'll admit, I said, well, maybe we are going to find out he needed more time. But that's a long way from basically saying it's done, it's over. Seifert brought it to my attention. The ESPN crew this morning, you saw the headline, right? What they were debating.
Which one?
If they redid the quarterback draft involving Caleb Williams and J.J. McCarthy, would J.J. McCarthy go first? I'll just say this. If on the basis of what happened in that game, that is the conclusion you've drawn, you're an idiot. There's not enough stuff yet. You got to let the stuff play out for a minute or two. Now, might it be a statement about Caleb? And by the way, the answer would be neither. Wouldn't it be the kid in Washington? Isn't he in that draft?
Yes, he was.
That's the answer.
Jaden Daniels
but
is the answer.
But it's not sexy because it's got to be about the two who played and who competed against one another last night. But in all honesty, once the dam burst, I've seen it. No matter who's coached the Bears, basically forever post Ditka, with the slight exception of when Lovey was coaching this team, that they'll go down easy. They'll go down feebly. They'll get terrified. You put pressure on them and by the way, the Vikings defense after the first drive was putting good pressure on keeping the Vikings in the game long enough for the offense to eventually participate. It starts with that. The defense was very good, but once the Vikings were ahead, I had no fear. Even though Caleb Williams had a nice comeback against us last year, I had no fear that it was in him. Guess what he became again? Wildly inaccurate.
Missing wide open guys.
They took him off his spots. Then he's running around, whirling dervish. Some of that is he's got to because the protection's not that great. But some of it is he's missing wide open receivers. The pressure was ramped up. And once the pressure was ramped up, I didn't think it was difficult to see that the Vikings were going to be able to do exactly what they did. Let's do this. Let's stay on schedule so we get plenty of time with Adam Thielen. We'll get his reaction to being back at Soldier Field. He caught a 2-point conversion. So we'll get into all of that and even on Adam's return, the backstory, we hope, on his return to Minnesota and to the Vikings. They tell me he is a Detroit Lakes kid who attended Minnesota State Mankato. We'll find out. We'll get that confirmed next.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. The rush of racing? Nothing beats it. But Chumba Casino comes close. Chumba's got fast spins, fun games, daily bonuses, and all the action you can handle. Now that's a ride. Ready to hit the throttle? Get in the driver's seat and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney designed, state specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control, without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
This is Rob Gronkowski from Dudes on Dudes. Anyone else feeling hungry? Because Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You can stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, mozzarella sticks and marinara, or brew pub pretzels and white cheddar beer cheese. Or you can spice things up and try some unexpected combinations like dipping chicken wonton tacos in their honey Dijon mustard. The choice is yours. The Ultimate Trio is the perfect way to hit all your cravings in one plate and turn appetizers into an entree. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Football is back. That means it's tailgate time. And this season, the only meat going on the grill is Dietz and Watson. Some of my favorites are the Black Angus Dietz dogs, the Italian-style chicken sausage, and the Asiago spinach chicken sausage, just to name a few. Oh, and I love the jalapeno mustard. It's flavor-packed, and you could just tell Dietz and Watson uses the highest quality meats in every bite. Dietz and Watson was born in Philly in 1939, and they've been doing it the right way ever since. Visit DietzandWatson.com/the right way to learn more about the Dietz difference.
You want a chance to win a Vikings away game trip for 4? This could be your year. Visit the Minnesota Lottery booth at the Vikings kickoff concert on Sunday, September 14th, before Russell Dickerson takes the stage to enter. Minnesota Lottery must be 18 or older to play.
As I mentioned, Kevin Seifert will join in studio top of the 4 o'clock hour. Plenty of Vikings talking points to get to as well. The Bradshaw and Bryan text line is on fire. It's on fire, as they say, down at Chattanooga, Tennessee. But that doesn't mean you can't text. Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line is 64686 if you'd like to get it on the fun. Now, I think we'll agree that the text line, or back in the old days, the inbox, more likely to be on fire after a loss because everybody's got an idea. Everybody thinks this is what we can do to fix it. This is what we have to do to get better. And I know exactly what went wrong. And so there's actually more emotion then. But there's still plenty today because when you win in the improbable fashion that the club did yesterday, albeit against a team that has been just a mess forever. It's especially within the division. There's going to be a certain measure of emotion because I'm sure, I don't know if they'll admit to it, there's got to be a lot of people out there who had given up on the club, despite the fact that the score was never out of hand. They said, this is it. We're done. We're not going to win this one. We won 5 in a row for Mike Yo at Soldier Field. It ain't going to be 6. And yet, we all know how the fourth quarter went with 21 key points. The Bears score a late one. And then we're going to get to special team stuff, but the Chicago Bears head coach, and again, it's his first game as a head coach, but X was on fire last night, basically saying because of the timeout situation, you have one choice. If you are the Bears kicking off down 3, you know you've got to stay on the right side of the 2-minute warning so that the 2-minute warning goes into effect after the Vikings run their first play. And they didn't do it. And they didn't do it because they made the mistake of not ordering their kicker to kick the ball out of bounds. It's only 5 more yards, and that certainly would have been the way to go. But we'll get into more of that detail. And by the way, might not have mattered because the Vikings also might have called things a little differently to try to get one first down to win the game as well. But it was a pretty significant issue across the board. And Mr. Thielen has indeed called in. Guardsy, will you pot him up, please, because the phone's a little too far away from me. I appreciate that. Adam Thielen, kind enough to join us via the Connecticut Water Systems Hotline. Welcome back to the program. Congratulations on the victory. It's good to have you. I'm shocked and stunned. We all are here that you are willing to make this commitment, but we are very appreciative that you have.
Absolutely. It's good to be back on with you guys.
It's outstanding to be on with you as well. And I'll start with the obvious question. If, 6 months ago, hell, maybe even a month ago, I just said to you, after the first Monday night game of the season, you'd be talking to me as a member of the Vikings, and you would have been at Soldier Field on that first Monday night celebrating with your teammates one of the more improbable victories. Would you have called me an idiot? Would you think I was insane? I'm just trying to figure out how you have sort of processed the unlikely nature of you being in the position you are again.
2.5 weeks ago, I would have said you're crazy. So, obviously, special locker room, special team, and leadership, as you could see last night. So I'm excited to be a part of it. We got a long ways to go, but obviously a great start to the season and a lot of momentum that we can build on.
Everybody, a lot of your teammates talked about what they observed of particularly the quarterback, even as things are going badly. And they're all saying we're getting various vibes from him that he's not curling up in the fetal position. He's not wallowing in his struggles. And I'm wondering what you saw as a guy who's been around forever and worked with a lot of different quarterbacks, what you were aware of as you're playing this out, because it obviously did not start very impressively for the offense.
I think I go back even 2 summers ago when I first threw with him, and obviously never thought he would be my quarterback someday. But yeah, I go back to that moment. I just think of his competitive spirit. I think of his positive, competitive energy that I felt then. And obviously that's just summer throwing shorts and T-shirts, not a competitive situation. And you could feel that. And then now fast forward to last night and to see that come to fruition when the lights are on. Obviously you saw those things in college, in big games. But to be able to do that, first start, Monday Night Football, back in his home city, and to be able to respond the way he did, obviously said a lot about him. So I think everyone in that locker room is excited to continue to go to work with him and go to battle. And we know there's going to be some ups and downs for all of us.
Sure.
And we're just excited to be a part of it.
He said after the game, Adam, that the completion to Naylor that led to the 59-yard field goal at the end of the half helped him a lot. Just the idea of, all right, we've made a play, where you're a quarterback, you want to sling it a little bit. He had a chance to sling it a little bit to an open receiver and make a big play. What did you see about that play do you think that might have helped? And even what the mood was at halftime in the locker room?
I feel that was kind of the mindset of the entire offense. We were kind of just trying to find that moment. We were trying to find that moment that gave us some momentum to say, all right, we've settled in. We've had some positions here. We know what they're doing defensively. Obviously, we all trust KO and the offensive staff to put us in great positions because there's some of the business, obviously. And I think it was just that moment that we were all looking for. But him in particular, as the quarterback, is the guy who's got the ball in his hands every play. I would imagine that like he said, kind of jump-started him to say, all right, we can do this. We can come back and we can play well and ultimately win this game.
So he gets then, unfortunately, after that, there was the pick six, all right? And there it's looking a little bit shaky again because the Bears really hadn't done anything offensively since that first series, but now they got to gift 7 points. When a play like that happens for your quarterback, what is your approach as wide receiver guy? Do you leave him alone? There's other people to talk to him. Not my job. Is it I go over and I do make a point of trying to interact with him? What was your approach last night?
Yeah, my approach is give him some space. And then obviously we're right back up on the field. So right before we go on the field, hey, a lot of football, a lot of time. I mean, that was the benefit to us at that moment in the game is there was a lot of time left on that clock. And you look up and you're like, wow, there's football to play and a lot can happen. In this league, a lot can happen in a short amount of time. So I think that gave us a lot of confidence that this game's not over. And again, just let's do this. We got a lot of time. We all know what we're all capable of individually. Let's go put it together.
So one of the off-season stories, pretty much from the end of last season, when it ended badly in the playoffs from KOC, was this notion that we've got to get more stout. We're going to change some things on the offensive line. We're going to get bigger. We're going to get a little bit more physical. And we have to be able to play different ways, which I think a lot of us thought was translated as we've got to be able to run the ball better. Not to just become a running team, but to have that as a complement. And I thought there were key stretches, especially with Jordan Mason, where we saw some sign of exactly what the running game can do, especially for a quarterback who is new, who is trying to figure this thing out and is trying to gain some confidence. How aware are you of this becoming part of the emphasis on this team?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big emphasis for us going into the game, really kind of knowing what we have in that backfield, kind of that different change of pace running style, two guys back there that we can rely on. And then like you said, the stoutness up front, right? They made that a point this offseason. Obviously, I haven't been around those guys very long, but the little that I have, you realize that it's a really good front there that is able to do a lot of things well, not just in the run game, but also in the pass game, and giving JJ confidence back there to be able to give him a little bit of time to make some plays. So in this league, you got to be able to do everything well. You can't just be a passing team or a running team. You have to do it all well to go places where you want to go. So again, it's a great start. A lot to build on, and excited to be a part of those guys. Because not only are those guys both great runners and can do a lot of things out of the backfield, but they're also great leaders and great teammates. So those are the guys you cheer for and you hope that have success, and they did. How
gratifying was the 2-point conversion catch? Tell me a little bit more. Tell me a little bit about that play and what happened there.
Yeah, just obviously a great play call to get us in a position where we could go make a play. And yeah, it felt good to obviously contribute a little bit. Had a little bit of play before that. So just to get the ball in my hands and kind of get over that play was good. And obviously in this team this year, it's going to be about what can you do to help this team win football games. And that's doing your job at the best of your ability, especially when it matters. So that's the focus of all of us as individuals. And, Coach said, do the routine things routinely. So just trying to do that day in, day out, play in, play out, and refocusing every play as part of the game of football.
Has it been easy? I mean, does it feel like literally you never left? Has it been that seamless and easy to come back? We all assume that's the case because of how comfortable you were here, how big a contributor you were, but you were gone for more than a minute. So has it been like nothing, just walking back in the door?
Yeah, it's crazy. You step back in the building and you literally feel like time went backwards, right? and you just never left. Obviously thankful for the entire organization and the players of kind of just welcoming me with open arms. It's kind of a interesting thing when you come back into a locker room you haven't been in a long time. You just don't necessarily know how you'll be received, but very, very thankful for the teammates and the coaches and really just everyone in that building just welcome me with open arms. And it's almost one of those things where I want to do right by them so badly because they've given me so much by allowing me to come back and be a part of this team. So just trying to do my part and be the player that I know I can be.
Two last things. Adam Thielen is going to be our weekly guest. We're looking forward to this all season long, starting with this appearance. So can you let us behind the curtain a little bit? Because when the speculation started from the beginning, you were the logical guy, obviously, especially with the suspension. Here's a guy who can plug in, experienced receiver, and you just let him go play. But the early line was, no, Carolina's going to want too much. It's going to become too difficult. And I thought a lot of people thought it might have been dead. So how are you playing this out as you're hearing? How are you processing it? And can you figure out what changed, what opened the door to making this trade actually happen to bring you back here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. It's been a wild few weeks. Just a lot of emotions, a lot of ups and downs as far as, is it going to happen? Yeah. Is it not going to happen? I'm hearing from my agent, what both sides are saying, and there's just a lot going on. So it was definitely a very, very crazy couple of weeks. But yeah, I think at some points in the conversations, I thought there's no chance it was happening. And really until it happened towards the end, I just kind of knew that I thought it wasn't going to happen. And then I got a phone call from my agent saying deal's done. Get on the 11 o'clock a.m. flight. I was in the hot tub in the locker room in Carolina and sprinted out there to catch a flight to get to practice here in Minnesota. So definitely wild times. Not a lot of time to prepare for the move and all that. But thankfully, I got a rock star of a wife who has just took this and really made it easy on our family by getting the kids into school, getting them signed up to sports, canceling everything back in Carolina, and there's a lot going on. But again, we're very thankful and happy and blessed to be back home. And my kids were more than thrilled to be able to come back home and see their cousins and family and obviously friends from school.
Must be wild. Is it fair to say if you had not been willing to make some concessions on your own regarding salary, that maybe we're not having this conversation?
Yeah, they were very clear with that if it does go through, there'd have to be something there, and before they could even explain, we made it very clear that we were okay with that, and excited to be just hoping that the trade gets done and that we could make it work. So again, just excited to be here, excited to be a part of this, and want to contribute in any way I can.
Last one. Have you thought much about, you got a night game or you got a home game coming up next, what it's going to be like for you, going back through that tunnel, whether you're introduced or not, and heading back into a stadium that you know so well for the Vikings home opener?
Yeah, I think for the most part right now, I'm focused on how I can get better and how I can really get the game plan down and and help this team win games. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that when the trade talks kind of started happening and you see the stuff on social media, I think that's kind of where my brain first went, was like, man, that would be crazy to get back in that stadium, to walk out of that tunnel again, to be in that atmosphere. And I kind of had, envisioned what that would be like. Obviously there's nothing better than playing in front of that home crowd. This fan base is like none other. And so it definitely will be a special moment, but at the same time, there's been a lot of excitement and there's been a lot going on. So I really need to focus on what I can control, focus on how I can get better and how I can get more on the same page with JJ and get the system down. So that will be my focus this week.
Welcome back. Well, we appreciate the effort, and we'll look forward to chatting with you next week. Thanks, Adam.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Adam Thielen, Vikings receiver, is back with his favorite football team. Let's make this the bottom of the hour pause. Don't forget, Kevin Seifert will join in about 1/2 hour in studio.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney-designed, state-specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control, without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
This is Rob Gronkowski from Dudes on Dudes. Anyone else feeling hungry? Because Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You can stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, mozzarella sticks and marinara, or brew pub pretzels and white cheddar beer cheese. Or you can spice things up and try some unexpected combinations like dipping chicken wonton tacos in their honey Dijon mustard. The choice is yours. The Ultimate Trio is the perfect way to hit all your cravings in one plate and turn appetizers into an entree. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Football is back. That means it's tailgate time. And this season, the only meat going on the grill is Dietz and Watson. Some of my favorites are the Black Angus Dietz dogs, the Italian-style chicken sausage, and the Asiago spinach chicken sausage, just to name a few. Oh, and I love the jalapeno mustard. It's flavor-packed, and you could just tell Dietz and Watson uses the highest quality meats in every bite. Dietz and Watson was born in Philly in 1939, and they've been doing it the right way ever since. Visit DietzandWatson.com/the right way to learn more about the Dietz difference.
Yeah, stay tuned. All right, we've got a lot of ground to cover between now and 6:30 this evening, largely about the Vikings' spirited, as it turns out, what was it, 27-24 victory?
3-point victory.
Over the Monsters of the Midway. I can tell you, after listening to a little bit of Bears wine line this morning, they are not taking it well in Chicago. And, it's only one game, but when you've been as bad as they've been, as long as they've been, it's hard to not attach it. That's just the way it works. I don't even blame fans for that. And on the other hand, that's the beauty of it for the Vikings standpoint after winning 14 games last season. Let's start with a quarterback talking point I like to call the yin and the yang of a QB on Monday Night Football.
The first third down of J.J. McCarthy's career 3rd and 2 from his own 33. He goes out of the shotgun. J.J. throws with his right hand. Back to pass. He'll get away from one Bear. He lunges forward, and he's sacked. J.J. McCarthy sacked. Noah Sewell, one of 2 Bears in on the sack. And the Vikings go 3 and out and are punting it away to the Chicago Bears. Vikes are 0 of 5 on 3rd down. McCarthy walks up to Ryan Kelly twice, taps him with his left hand. Play clock down to 2. 3rd down, gets the snap. McCarthy looking left. That's a terrible, terrible pass, and it's going to be a pick 6 for the Chicago Bears. It's former Viking Nashawn Wright. Touchdown, Chicago Bears. McCarthy telegraphed that from a mile away, and it's 16-6 Chicago. 1st and 10 from the 27 of the Bears. McCarthy out of the shotgun. Blitz is on, it's picked up. McCarthy loops it to Jones. Touchdown! He's showtime! And the Minnesota Vikings have taken a 1-point lead. 3rd and 1 from the Bears 14. McCarthy out of the shotgun, milking a 3-point lead. It is a run-pass option. McCarthy takes off to the right, to the 10. Stutter steps at the 5. Touchdown! He's J.J. McCarthy, and he runs for a Vikings touchdown. And the Minnesota Vikings, after that 14-yard touchdown gallop, sending fans home here at Soldier Field.
My God, what a contrast. You can't get a greater contrast in any game, certainly not your first game as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. And I do is it possible, Guardsy, we're going to look back on even the struggles, and it was, struggle's probably too kind. It was a mess.
It was messy and sloppy.
It was disastrous. It was no rhythm, no nothing offensively. That he may have had a look of confidence in his eyes, but there was nothing about the way he was playing that was particularly confident. Nobody was helping him around him either. You heard Thielen kind of acknowledge, without saying it directly, he's mad at himself for the drop. He had a drop.
Yeah.
JJ had a drop. And above and beyond that, obviously the start for JJ was awful, as in JJ McCarthy. Eli Manning, though, was there on the Manning cast last night to say, I love this quote. Did you see it? I like also that they struggled in the first half. McCarthy threw a pick 6, so he knows it's not easy. He was probably humbled a little bit, but he fought through it. Made some plays, made some throws, got into a rhythm. You're going to have some bad plays, but you have to keep grinding. I like the message. Eli's basically saying, you think you're hot bleep, and you have been throughout your career, but maybe it's not so bad to be reminded every once in a while that this ain't going to be easy, kid. No matter how confident you are, you will be humbled, no matter how good you are in this league, and then you turn it around in the other direction. Now, body language. There's a lot of discussion after that game about quarterback body language, and we got a text regarding that. And then we'll start with that, and then I'll get into the other thing I wanted to regarding the contrast as the game went on between the two quarterbacks, because it was obvious that Caleb Williams started much better than McCarthy did. Just as obvious that Caleb Williams finished much more dreadfully while McCarthy was starting to figure this thing out, and they're flinging the ball around a little bit. And we'll get to it later. He got a great deal of support from the running game, as we talked about with Adam Thielen as well. This is from Jeff in Richfield. Key takeaway for me was the poise between the two QBs. When things were going poorly for JJ and the Vikings, he stayed positive, energetic, tried to stay engaged with his team. When things turned on Caleb and the Bears, he moped on the bench and lost all confidence. Now, that can be an oversimplification.
Sure.
But I think there's something to that. And the tweet that got my attention, are you familiar with the former Gopher quarterback by the name of Mike Hohensee?
Yes. Played for the Bears.
Exactly.
Lives in Chicago now.
Did you read his tweet, which I reposted?
I saw it. I don't remember what he said. I saw that you had posted it.
Bears stopped talking to their quarterback while Minnesota stayed very engaged with theirs. It's how you finish. Now, again, is he looking too hard? Maybe. But the fact is, that's been one of the raps on Caleb Williams and even the way the previous coaching staff coached him. And maybe there were a lot of sideline conversations that the cameras didn't capture last night where they attempted to keep Caleb Williams engaged. But there was no question that the Vikings kept McCarthy engaged, and he also, you could see him working the sidelines as well. And look, sometimes that can be hollow stuff. It was Aikman late in the game, though, who said, look, the truth is, I'm sure they believed in this kid. But if you're a veteran player, you are looking for results. That's really the true test. And he predicted that this week in practice sessions and meeting rooms, etc., that the players already the veteran players will look a little differently at their quarterback just because he was, as I said, he performed miserably through basically most of 3 quarters of that game and then responded. Now, can you count on that every week?
Right.
Waiting to the fourth quarter? No, you're going to play better teams. But I thought all of that is at least discussable. It all needs to be put into the mix here in trying to explain why things ended up going in a little better direction for the Vikings. And one of the continued issues as it pertains to a guy who's obviously got endless talent. Caleb Williams has endless talent, but at key moments, we're seeing him do what he tends to do, which is throw poorly, inaccurately, go to the bench, hang his head, sit by himself, talk to nobody.
Right.
It's just true. So I think it's something worth discussing.
I don't know 32 teams in the NFL. I don't know how many the Vikings would have beaten last night with that just dreadful offensive performance in the first half.
Correct.
It's probably 3 or 4, right? Maybe.
Yes.
They happen to get lucky that they got to play one of them last night.
What was the halftime score?
Was it 12-6? Hang on.
I'll double check. I should know before asking you at all. But
or was it 10-6?
The point is, with the late field goal, it was anybody's game.
10-6.
10-6. We all saw that game. That game didn't feel like a 10-6 game.
No.
At all. But that's what you're back to. Against better teams, it probably wouldn't have been a 10-6 game.
Correct.
So, to your point.
But I loved the fact that they just kept... It never felt out of reach because it never was, obviously. They couldn't even get the snaps off. I mean, they were letting the play clock go down to like 3.
Talk about with Seifert, because I've not heard the coach address that yet. Did it come up after the game?
I don't think it came up in the presser because everybody was in such a good mood. Everybody was talking about how great the resilience was.
It's the number one, if you want to call it negative, but I think legitimate question on the downside to say, what is it? Were they coming in late? Did you have communication issues? Did he have some trouble processing, like then translating whatever you told him into the huddle? Because something was way off.
And then he and KOC did the raise the roof arm thing to reset the clock the whole time. And Aikman's like, I don't know why they would need to do that. There was no reason for it. They just looked utterly confused for essentially the entire first half, save for that one nice throw. But I do buy into what Aikman said, though, that once they got it figured out, and credit to the defense and I wasn't even that bothered. The first Caleb Williams drive, I heard KOC today with PA on X's and O's, and he basically said, the Caleb speed is real.
Yeah.
Like, they should have had 3 sacks on the first drive.
Yes.
It wasn't like Caleb went out there and just hot knife through butter, made a bunch of plays. Like, they had a beat on him, and he just got out of there, right? Because that's what he does. He's good at that. So I wasn't even that panicked after that. It's like, all right, they'll figure out how to kind of keep him contained, and they'll figure out that they can't just run right up to him because he's going to go by him. Poor Cashman blows out his hamstring trying to chase him.
And now we think likely he's going to miss at least several weeks.
I would think.
Yeah, that's the latest informed speculation.
Yeah, you could see that in real time.
Yeah.
But they just hung around long enough, and then once JJ got going, it was pretty much curtains. And I know you're going to talk about it because it's the biggest talking point of the day. The running game setting the stage for everything. Credit to KOC, I think, because, and also they was close enough where they could stick to the running game. But you know, and I know there have been times where they've still slung it 50 times for no reason. You know, the game was close enough where they could afford to run the ball.
Right.
But that's what gave them the chance to really get back into it, those first two Mason runs, and then it was JJ from there.
Yeah, I think it has to relax the QB who has not played well at all, that he's got it. And the assumption, in fact, who was it? I think somebody said it. I heard that it might have even been, I don't remember who I heard say it. You start running, it's as old as the game, as complicated as we think the game is. Sooner or later, if you start running better, the other team brings a safety down or an extra defender because they go, well, that's what we got to do. And we know there's a trade-off to that. But guess what that also enables? It gives you a better shot to find openings in the secondary to make a couple of throws. And it wasn't like he threw for 400 yards or anything like it. But once they got that going a little bit, you could tell, I felt like he was slinging it a little more again. You know, he's ripping it a little bit because you gain a little bit of confidence. And maybe you see more openings because, for example, they are bringing people down to try to deal with Mason.
They also figured out that Christian Darrisaw wasn't playing.
Yeah,
as I thought there were way too many times where we just let new left tackle guy, like you have this critical important run block.
You want some more chips?
Yeah, well, or do anything different, because he was having a tough time. He was having a really tough time in the first half. And I guess the interior line held up really well with all the analytic numbers and all of those things. But I think they did kind of start figuring out, we got to do something different over there. We can't just expect this guy to be Darrisaw because he's clearly not.
No, again, there's anytime a game like this plays out the way it is, there's a million things to talk about. And I don't want to turn this into Bears wine line. But I have, over a period of time, developed serious doubts. As good as you said, you could say that Caleb's strength is he basically, but only because of his speed and his elusiveness, did the Vikings not have maybe a minimum of 3, perhaps 4 or 5 more sacks. And that's a skill that can be helpful. The problem that I still see is the whole bit with the new guy, with Ben Johnson, was just make the basic plays.
Right.
And where the Vikings defense, what I thought was particularly effective, was even if they weren't getting to him every time or he was eluding them, they were moving him off the cliched proverbial spots that in the Ben Johnson offense, he wants him to throw out of. That's where he's supposed to make his money. I can make you a better pocket passer if you just follow the progressions. But when he gets off his spots, yeah, he can scramble, and he made one nice play rolling to the right I think it was on that first drive.
Yes.
But other than that, he gets a little skittish, and his accuracy ain't very good. And I think there should be serious concern at this point, because the idea of you can become more accurate. How many quarterbacks in the history of the league have become that much more accurate? Maybe the kid in Buffalo, but I don't think very many where you go, well, no, you just work and you keep practicing. When the tension goes up and the pressure goes up on just making the obvious, this guy's wide open, just get the ball to him.
Right.
He misses a lot on those. So
you could have daggered him on the one that was on the left side of the field where Aikman said that should be a touchdown.
That's exactly it.
And that's perfect design, perfect play.
Well, even on the first drive, they said Aikman, and hard to argue, it ended with a touchdown, but there were bigger plays open downfield. And at that point, he seemed so adamant about, I just got to get rid of the ball very, very quickly. So in the battle of the quarterbacks, there's no question that the cliche applies. I mean, we're generally going to evaluate more on how you finish than how you start. And JJ finished a hell of a lot better than Caleb did. Caleb did not look up to it again at all.
To your point and Hohensie's point about the demeanor and just the interaction, a lot of reaction from former players and NFL people about the team's reaction when JJ scored the running touchdown.
It's true.
Which I do think says a lot.
It does.
I do, as hokey as it sounds, I do think it does say a lot about just how he's acquitted himself here, what people feel about him. I loved what Thielen told you about the first throwing session 2 years ago, where he's like, this is like the most casual thing ever, and this guy's out here ready to work. That was interesting to me. And but I think other people noticed that, and now, as Aikman said, with the backdrop of you just let him on an improbable comeback where you pretty much dominated the entire fourth quarter. How couldn't his chest be puffed out at the facility this week? And those guys have a puffed out chest for him.
Well, some of it too, I think, is simpler than that. It's they know they have a pretty good team, right? But they know that they ain't going anywhere if he's just average. So some of it is they're cheering because, my God, our best chance to have a good season is this guy's got to be good. But I do think you sense there's a lot of folks rooting for him within the team, and that goes into the approach that he has obviously taken. It appears from the moment that he came in the door. There's a lot. There will have several more Vikings talking points. One of them we might even use when Kevin Seifert stops by. He's going to be with us at the top of the hour. And we'll probably play back, if you missed it, we had Adam Thielen between 3:15 and 3:30. And because it's kind of a new bit, and we got folks who come out in and out of listening at various times of the day, depending on their schedules. We'll probably play that interview back late for folks who will be listening in the, I don't know, maybe 5:55 or 6. Well, we're on a different clock now, 6:02, whenever.
Yeah, that'd work.
Whenever works from a time standpoint. We'll try to give folks a second shot. We didn't have the greatest luck with sound, we know, but nevertheless, I think it was worth the time for sure, and we look forward to the visit with him each week. Vikings are back, of course, on national TV. Sunday Night Football.
J.J. McCarthy, Mike. That was more Gruden than Collinsworth.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of your Gruden lately.
Well,
obviously,
he did the Gopher box.
Thing. Yeah.
You heard about Bronco Nagurski?
That did sound more like Gruden.
Yeah, I need to just take 5. I need to calm down.
Do you think you have a decent... You had a decent Collinsworth at one time,
It's okay.
didn't
It's
you?
not Joey Molinaro level.
No,
but
who is?
I mean, it's 50% there. The best Collinsworth was when Sean Mannion was starting, and he tried to sell it to us.
Yeah,
remember that?
I do.
This guy's, it's not too big, Al. No. He's ready for this.
Yeah.
He was
How
not
long
ready
did that
for
last?
this. About a quarter. Yeah, maybe not. Two possessions.
That falls into the category, I guess, is you're so eager to develop an angle that you're going to go with it, and only to find out that it means absolutely nothing. Top of the hour pause. We'll come back. Kevin Seifert will join us in studio. He was there, Soldier Field, so we'll get a lot of good reaction from him, injury updates, etc., with Mr. Seifert.
Hey, it's Brian Christopher. Ready to chill this summer? You're in luck. I'm hanging out at Chumba Casino, and you're in for a treat. Chillax with hundreds of games, daily bonuses, exciting spins, and epic prizes. It's all here, always free to play. Kick back, have fun, and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's make this summer legendary.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21+.
This is Rob Gronkowski from Dudes on Dudes. Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You can stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, or you can spice things up and try some unexpected pairings like dipping chicken wonton tacos in our honey Dijon mustard. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Football is back. That means it's tailgate time, and this season, the only meat I'm going to grill is Dietz and Watson. I'm loving the Black Angus Dietz dogs. They're flavor-packed, and you can tell they are made with the highest quality ingredients. Sundays just got a whole lot better. Visit DietzandWatson.com/therightway to learn more about the Dietz difference.
Whether you're watching college football or flipping between games on Sunday, sound quality matters. A Sonos home theater setup, especially the Arc Ultra soundbar, delivers immersive surround sound and deep bass that makes every play, every hit, and every cheer feel larger than life. And when you're on the go, the Sonos Ace headphones are a game changer. Lightweight, crystal clear, and with up to 30 hours of battery life, they're built for everything, from podcasts to post-game analysis. Visit Sonos.com to explore the full lineup.